We looked at some of the damage for some of the tornadoes. Unfortunately, they had a number of fatalities in a community over in St. Lucie County because of one of the tornadoes, and these things are really tough. And we did see tornadoes, which is standard with these hurricanes, but you saw the tornadoes, and they did do some significant damage, even all the way over on the east coast of Florida. We've also been able to tour. We did a driving tour of Siesta Key. Was able to see some of the damage that was out there. Also saw what appeared to me to be some of the leftover debris from Helene that was, out in the street or whatnot. So we got a sense of what's going on there. Then, of course, here we're here looking. I mean, there's damage behind me with some of these. Honestly, for the mobile home stuff, I thought there would be more roofs. So some of these mobile homes, I mean, they've done a lot better in Florida over the years. We flew in over a number of the communities as well. There were definitely some roofs that were really bad, but then there were others that did really well. Another thing I think I can say just by doing our tour with like Siesta Key, I mean, our buildings that were built, in the last 20, 30 years, I mean, they did very well. They look good. There was obviously damage. There were trees. Some of the structures were damaged. But, you have some of those newer homes that are built with a more updated building code. They seem to fare very well. So we'll see as the damage assessments come in and as the reports. Now, we have at the state level, we're continuing supporting search and rescue operations. As of this afternoon, at least 340 individuals and 49 pets have been rescued. Florida National Guard, Florida law enforcement, and urban search and rescue teams are continuing to work throughout the day. We've got a lot of rescue craft operational. Hundreds of rescuers are engaged in over 125 missions in 26 counties. Some of that's in conjunction with the local law enforcement and fire and other first responders. I know a lot of the sheriffs are doing a lot of good work. This storm came in the way it did. The dirty side of the storm was kind of Sarasota, Charlotte area. And then the northern side of the storm, it actually, instead of doing storm surge into Tampa Bay, it sucked it out. But the northern side of the storm had a lot of precipitation. I mean, they were just getting water dumped on them. So whereas Helene created a lot of storm surge in that part of the state, this one didn't do that there, but it created like inland flooding. And so you see that in Pinellas and Hillsborough counties. You also got an awful lot of water dumped in the center and northern parts of the state on the northern side of the storm. So we're going to continue to respond for those as appropriate. Power. So as of the 3 p.m. update, we've got 3.2 million that are without power, 3.2 million accounts throughout the state of Florida. Since the storm hit, 880,000 have been restored. So we've basically had a storm that's had over 4 million power outages. I think that's probably similar to what we saw with Hurricanes Irma and Hurricanes Ian. And I know but on this one, we have 50,000 linemen. We had probably 40-some thousand for Ian. I don't think they had them presaged for Irma, but we've got over 50,000 linemen. So they are hard at work. I know this area is FPL. I know they're planning a big push. So we feel very confident that those folks are working very hard, and you're going to see some good stuff here in the ensuing time period. Sarasota County, where we are now, is about 66% out as we speak. Prior to landfall here in Sarasota, we staged thousands of sandbags, 9 high-water vehicles, 3 high-wheeled vehicles for search and rescue, 12 emergency sat phones, 4 urban search and rescue teams, and 2 swiftwater teams. And now we are continuing to help with 25 additional generators, 3 swamp buggies, FWC search and rescue boats, 3 mobile command vehicles, 4 ambulance strike teams, 4,000 gallons of diesel, 4,000 gallons of regular unleaded, 5 helicopters, additional Starlinks, 20 diesel trash pumps, and additional supplies like tarps, fans, and dehumidifiers. Cut and toss began at first light by the Florida Department of Transportation. We have 328 crews active in the field, over 350 pieces of heavy equipment, 150 bridge inspectors were dispatched immediately, and over 620 bridges have already been inspected. As I said in my executive order for Hurricane Milton, local authorities must allow residents back to their homes once the roadways are deemed safe. In Tampa, the Sunshine Skyway, Gandy, Howard Franklin, and Courtney Campbell causeways have all been inspected, cleared, and they are open for traffic. Bridges are being opened as soon as state inspections are complete. There are a couple bridges throughout other parts of the state where they are looking at different issues. I-4, I-75, Alligator Alley are all clear and they're all open. US 1 and A1A have been cleared with the exception of A1A at Matanzas Avenue and Butler Beach. That's over on the other coast. Assessing a few areas where damage has occurred along roadways and bridges, such as washouts and flooding. That is continuing to go. There have been 5,000 traffic signals. 280 signals in the state are not currently operational. They're working to deploy generators to get those back up. If you come to a traffic light that is out, you treat it like a four-way stop. So just remember, that's how people are going to do. So if you're going, you got to stop, look like you would on a stop sign. There are many schools closed today, but we're working with the Department of Education to have schools resume as quickly as possible across the state, and that's going to be a little bit different depending on how you were affected by the storm. But I think the majority of those school districts that were closed probably had minimal to no impacts from the storm and should be able to resume operations very quickly. If you want to look to see what your school district's plans are, you can go to fldoe.org/storm info. Now, please remember, as you survey damage and you clean up, be cautious of any downed power lines. They can be deadly. Do not touch them and stay away from any debris that may be tangled within the power lines. Be careful of standing water. You know, we are Siesta Key. I was able to sue. I mean, there's some. It's gone down, but there is some. There's going to be some inland flooding. Just be very careful when you're talking about standing water. There could be power lines down in there. There could be other hazards, and that could cause major problems. Be careful when you use ladders. We always have injuries and sometimes even fatalities based on the use of ladders. We've got a lot of elderly residents. We have different groups that will be in Florida that will help you with some of these things. These charity groups, these church groups, they go in to help people with their homes and help clean up debris. So utilize that. Don't put yourself at risk. If you operate a generator, do not operate your generator inside your home. It must be operated outside your home. We still have Visit Florida's emergency accommodation modules on Expedia and Priceline available if people need temporary shelter. For another 2 weeks, we have extended the Hope Florida line. So that's going to be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you need help or you need some resources, like maybe helping hand with some things around your house or maybe some things with some supplies, you know, we've got all these organizations that come to help in the subsequent to these storms. They're all plugged into Hope Florida. So you can call 1-833-GET-HOPE, 1-833-GET-HOPE, and Activate Hope is the disaster arm for Hope Florida, and that is up and running. We also have small business loans available. So we have $50 million. It's interest-free, very forgiving payment options. So if you need cash as a business, you can apply for up to $50,000. If you're agriculture and aquaculture, you have up to $100,000, and if you're citrus and cattle, you have up to $150,000. So please take advantage if you want. If you want to apply for that, you go to floridajobs.org/EBL. We also are accepting donations for the Florida Disaster Fund. This is a charitable, tax-deductible donation. 100% of the proceeds go to helping victims of both Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton. And so if you want to do that, you can go to floridadisasterfund.org, floridadisasterfund.org. I want to thank everybody who's worked really hard. We're still assessing the damage from this storm. I mean, I think clearly just going around that there was damage from it. I think in some areas that in terms of what was being predicted, some of the worst case scenarios did not come to pass, certainly in terms of some of the storm surge. People were predicting perhaps in the Tampa Bay area. The storm did weaken as it made landfall. And so whereas it was churning ferociously off the Yucatan Peninsula, by the time it made it to the coast of Florida, those winds were a little bit tamer. Still enough to do a lot of damage, but in terms of our assessments and being able to bounce back, I feel confident we're going to do that as a state. This power restoration effort is underway by all the major utilities. They've had the people ready, and they know that this is something that's really important. So you've got a lot of people working on that. We're very confident on reopening the ports like Tampa to make sure that fuel is continuing to flow. We have a lot of fuel in reserve in the state if we need to fill any gaps. But I'm confident we're going to be able to have an adequate amount of fuel delivered to the gas stations one way or another. If we need to use Florida Highway Patrol to help rush the trucks there, then we'll do that. But we should be in pretty good shape as far as that goes. So I want to thank everybody that's been involved. And we'll be putting out information about things like points of distribution for food and water. We're taking some of those inputs from some of the counties. I mean, some people said before the storm they wanted pods. Maybe they don't need pods now, depending on what damage. But we do anticipate when the counties are ready, rolling out some of the pods and providing some of the resources in terms of food, water, and other supplies like tarps for people as they may need it. So, okay, Kevin Guthrie.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you for everything.
All right, well, those were words from Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who provided an update on Hurricane Milton rescue and recovery efforts. The governor noted that 340 individuals and 49 pets have been rescued since Milton's landfall last night. Governor DeSantis also noted that inland flooding caused by the storm in central and northern parts of the state has blocked key roadways. Energy companies are working to restore power to the estimated 3 million residents still in the dark. Schools in Florida remain closed today. However, the governor noted that the damage to most facilities is minimal and each district has its own reopening plan. He also offered some good advice. If you come to an intersection that used to have a stoplight, everyone should just go ahead and stop like it's a four-way stop.